the really cool thing about reading the Bible is that you start to develop a biblical worldview. And that means words start to become redefined. So the best example I can give of this is the word love. So in just regular mainstream society, people think of love as a feeling. Like, I love you. I love being around you. It makes me feel good to be around you, and I want you to be happy and everything, and that's love. And I want you to smile. I want you to have everything you want and feel good. But and that's the secular definition of love, I guess. But in the Bible, God, it's defined as willing the good out of others. And good is another word that gets redefined in the Bible as something that God deems good. So, for example, we intuitively understand this when we correct a child, right? So, a parent obviously loves their child, but that doesn't mean a parent always does what the child wants. So a child might throw a tantrum and say, "I want the newest Game Boy. I want this toy. I want you to buy me this toy. I want to eat chocolate ice cream for dessert. I want it for dinner. I want this candy. Can we buy a cake tomorrow? Can I draw on the walls, or can I do this and that?" And a parent will correct the child not out of hate but out of love. The parent will say, "No, you can't do that because it's not good for you." So that's the exact same thing that happens when we use the biblical definition of love. And that means we have to correct people even if it makes them mad, right? Well, we have to do it in a wise and prudent way. We can't just go around correcting everyone. You also can't be a hypocrite while you're doing that. But you have to speak the truth. And truth is another word that's redefined by the Bible. God's truth. God is truth, right? So, for example, to wrap it all up, if I'm talking about love, a lot of people in society today just want to do whatever they want. And they want to do things that are against God's commands and that are sins, basically. And it's loving to maybe take them aside gently, like no need to embarrass them or anything like that, and gently explain to them that this is actually hurting you, that you wanting to do this, that you wanting to lie, cheat, or steal, or whatever, is actually gonna hurt you and your soul. And I'm not hating on you by telling you that. I'm loving on you, right? I can't just let you do this bad thing, right? Is it loving if you let a child just eat pizza every day because they want it? Is it loving to let a child just watch TV all day while eating chips? Obviously not, right? We all intuitively understand that that's terrible. That's not the way to parent. You can't just let them do whatever they want or whatever feels good. Everything in moderation. Yeah, I'm not saying you have to ban pizza forever or you can't rest on the couch, but there are things that are good, and if you overdo it and it becomes bad. That's kind of the story with everything. So that's kind of one word, love, that gets redefined by the Bible. Another word I love that gets redefined is humility. A lot of times when we think about being humble, we think of it in a very self-deprecating or almost like a self-denying way, like you're lying to people, like you're saying that, "Oh, I'm not good at this," but even though you might actually be good at it, right? So I think humility in the Bible is defined as being truthful and accurate, right? So just because you're good at something doesn't mean you're never gonna make a mistake at it or fail at it. So you have to be accurate about it, right? So let's say I have 50 years of experience in making YouTube videos or whatever. Maybe I'm really great at making YouTube videos, and I have a lot of experience. I've coached thousands of people to make successful YouTube channels or whatever. That doesn't mean that I can look at someone and be like, yeah, for sure, I can get you to 1 million subscribers or whatever. I know this and this and this. Like, I might feel confident that I can help, but it doesn't mean I can actually do it. So I have to be kind of humble in that. It's not wrong for me to say that I'm good at my craft. I'm good at doing YouTube, but an accurate statement would be like, I'm good at it, but I'm not perfect at it, right? So with the Bible, or with a biblical worldview, being humble just basically is acknowledging that you don't know what you don't know, and there are many things that you don't know. And also acknowledging your place, like stay in your lane, like you are the created and you're not the creator, right? So a lot of times people do not act humbly, and they say that they know things that they actually don't know. Like they know God's plan, or they know how God would have done something. Or you hear this a lot, like, this was God's plan, like, because this happened, it happened for a reason. God intended for this to happen. It's like, you don't know that, right? We have to be humble and acknowledge that we don't know those things. Or a lot of people like to make assumptions about other people, like, oh, I've seen this woman speak and she said this thing, and so now I think I know a little bit about her life, or a lot about her life. Or like, hey, I see this woman, she's working a lot. I see her doing public appearances here and there. She's talking, she's meeting people, so many appearances and media appearances and availability and whatever. And she has 3 kids. So can you imagine, like, her kids must be suffering, like she's neglecting her kids. So that's not a humble thing to do, right? Because you don't know that. You might have theories and you might have evidence for your theories, but even if it's just like a 1% chance, you can't say something is true when you don't know for sure that it's not true. It's almost like in a court of law, you have to have a standard of proof. And even in the court of law, you can never prove something. So we don't know the things we don't know, and there are things that just we don't know, and we can't pretend to know those things, especially when it comes to God. When people try to talk as if they kind of understand the universe, but God created the universe, which is, if you just think about it, just take a second to think about it, that's crazy. Like, I don't know how God operates, but all those little atoms have to be put together, atoms and neutrons and matter and dark matter and all these like forces that we still don't understand. And we don't even really understand Earth. And Earth is just a tiny speck in the universe. Like, just think about our sun. It's a star, and there are billions, like probably trillions of stars, and in galaxies, and there are billions of galaxies. And it's just, the human mind can't even comprehend how big the universe is. And I don't know, is that like a flex? Like, is God flexing on us? Like this is just like infinitely big, and it's no big deal to God, because God is everything. So for us, tiny little infinite or finite creatures, to just think that we know better than God, or even to like critique God, it's arrogant. It's not humble. So yeah, they're like, it's pretty crazy. Like once you start reading the Bible and start seeing these words pop up that you're like, oh, I know what that means, but it's like, wait, not really, because if you look at it through the lens of God, the words basically take on a new meaning, which is kind of cool, right? But sometimes it can get kind of confusing when you're having discussions with people about love and truth and humility and peace and faith and all that stuff. Like it's like we're operating on two different definitions, right? People think like, oh, if you love someone, you have to be tolerant of them. You have to tolerate their beliefs and just let them be. But according to God, that's not what love is. That is actually kind of hateful. It's if you know that someone is doing something that is going to lead them down a bad path, and you just let it happen, that's kind of terrible, right? If you see a truck coming and it's going to like crash and smush some guy into the ground, you don't want to just sit back and be like, well, I mean, he just does his thing. I mean, whatever. It's like you kind of want to, at some point, you got to like try to get him out the way. Now, it's not so simple like that in real life, because when it comes to matters of persuasion and changing people's minds, you can't just change people's minds and just barking at them and forcing your values upon people. It's not going to work. It's counterproductive. Like if that worked, then everyone would just do that. Everyone would just go around and just like try to force people to adopt their values. But obviously that doesn't work. And not only does it not work, it's counterproductive. It might make people move further away from the cause that you're trying to enact. So it's kind of like a paradox there. And Christianity is full of paradoxes. Maybe that could be another video, but Christianity is full of paradoxes, and it's actually kind of cool.